Back like a radio show.
There is kind of a
There's kind of a litmus test on being in this program
and for this
audience.
And that
litmus test is,
do you
do you understand what the progressive is?
And do you know the
Do you know the history
of
of progressivism?
I'm not going to waste time
I'm not going to waste time
on
with
this.
this.
I
I
just
want to say to the audience.
He does.
He does.
He is known
He's known for a long time ago. We talked about it for a long time ago.
And we were just talking
about it off the
maybe
air.
we'll
Maybe get into that
on the TV show.
on Monday morning on a radio show. I'll talk about gun control. Because socialism is innate,
and so
is gun control.
And they are selling
it
to
People Magazine.
Just
ran a promotion.
In People Magazine,
People Magazine, call your congressman and tell them we need gun control.
So they're going,
after the low information, low constitution, knowledge voters.
And it's going to become more
popular.
And the country
is becoming more and more unsettled.
How do you win this?
How do you win this?
Look, obviously, I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. Let's review. Let's take head on their strong. They call their strongest argument. Let's take what happened in Oregon. So after one of these shootings happens, the president didn't even wait this time. I mean, talk about unseemly. He comes on live TV, politicizes this while we're still learning the details. He and Hillary Clinton are in a race to see who can take away our Second Amendment rights the fastest. Taking away the rights of law-abiding citizens won't stop these shootings, these massacres. Let's be honest. We've got a culture that is decaying. You really want to understand why we have these mass shootings? You really want to understand, the knee-jerk liberal reactions, we'll take away law-abiding people's guns, that'll solve this. That doesn't solve anything. We've got a culture where we no longer protect innocent human life. We've got a culture where if you watch movies, you listen to music, you turn on your TV set, you're just overwhelmed with the violence, the obscenity. It's so hard to raise kids. And I say this not just as a governor, but as a father. We've got a decaying culture. We've got millions of kids growing up in families where they don't have father figures. We got millions of young boys who aren't growing up learning about values or the value of human life or truth. We got the father, and this is going to be very politically incorrect. I know we've already said enough things. We're going to get a lot of objections to this, but let's go ahead and be honest. We got the father of the Oregon shooter lecturing us about gun control. Here's a guy that, by his own admission, doesn't know how many guns his son had, doesn't know where he got the guns, wasn't in his son's life. He was living with his mom, really couldn't tell us a whole lot about his son. Who's he to be lecturing us? But you're right, Gillen, the left, they don't want to talk about the moral decay. We need a spiritual revival in this country. If you want to understand why this is happening, it's the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. Our culture is getting more and more coarse, more and more violent. Our kids, we tell them they can't bully at school, but they come home and they play these video games with violent, graphic depictions of rape, murders, killings. And we wonder, and too often it's a troubled young man that commits one of these shootings. The answer's not control. The answer, look, if somebody's going to break the law to use a gun, they'll break the law to get it. Let's be honest about this. This is just the left trying to take away more of our rights. This is the left. They already don't like our First Amendment religious liberty rights. They don't like our Second Amendment rights. Part of this, I think a lot of the left, they live in a world that's very different from us. A lot of them, not only are they not believers, they don't know folks that are believers. Not only do they not have guns, they don't know people that have guns. They look at people, the earlier conversation we were having about our guns, they listen to that, they're horrified. They think that's barbaric. Yeah. They think that's last century.
Exactly.
Same thing with spirituality.
Oh,
they really, it's a progressive trademark. They look down on people that are different from them. They don't understand them. They don't really want to understand them. They are beneath them. We are Neanderthals for believing in God. We're Neanderthals for believing in the power of protecting our own self with a handgun or even just to have a gun to go shoot and have sport with. We're Neanderthals. And remember, the president told us, he was caught on video, on audio recording, saying we cling to our guns and our religion as if that was an insult. Yes. I don't take that as an insult. I got plenty of religion, plenty of guns in Louisiana. We're proud of that. My little boys, they go duck hunting. We've taught them gun safety. They know how to, they're very responsible around guns. They always know that treat them like they're loaded. They don't point them at people. I trust them with guns because we've raised them right. They're not scared of them, and they know they're not toys. Now, that statement, I'm sure we just offended a whole lot of liberals out there who think that's child abuse. I can't believe you let your child, shoot a gun or hold a gun. It's great fun for the family.
Absolutely. And so I think you're right that, they preach tolerance. They're tolerant of everybody except those that disagree with them. If you happen to be a conservative, they have no tolerance for us. They say they're tolerant. They really are.
So how do you change that? We're entering a dangerous time in human history.
Well, look, part of it, I want to be elected president. I'm running to be president. That's not enough. We need a cultural change. We need a spiritual revival in this country. And that's what I mean when we fight for things like religious liberty. We have to not only appeal to people of faith, people also who aren't believers. We need to appeal to them and say, in America, we have the right to live our lives 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, according to our beliefs. Whether you believe what I believe or not, whether you're a Christian or not, you should fight for my right to live my life that way.
I have this on set. This is my copy of it. I want to give you this before you leave. Called The Great Partnership, Science, Religion, and Search for Meaning by Rabbi Jonathan Sacks. Have you read this?
I've read this.
He is
brilliant.
He's brilliant. He's making the case. Religious people have to start speaking to the scientists and the atheists
because
we're about to lose
all of it.
And we have much more in common. It's a fantastic plea to people who walk a different life. To say, look, there are a few things that we have to agree on. And we do. We just say, you're a scientist, so you are God-man. Or scientists say, you just ignore science because you believe in religion.
No, I don't think so. That's not what it is.
Look, let's give the president a very backhanded compliment. One of the things he understood, because you can undo tax rates and EPA regulations, we can undo that. He's fought very hard to change the idea of America.
Yes, yes, it does.
That's right. He's been a lot more successful than I would have thought in a short period of time. He gets how much harder that is to turn back. And we talked a little bit about, turning the American dream into the European nightmare, making it all about government dependence. He and Hillary both have tried to redefine the idea of religious liberty to be a couple of hours a week in church as opposed to 24/7.
Darn right it is.
Look at their assault on our gun rights every chance they get. This is an informed, it's a deliberate attempt to change the idea of America. Let's not be naive about what's at stake here. I used to say he was the worst president since Jimmy Carter, but that's unfair to Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, boy.
But he believed in American exceptionalism.
I think he's Woodrow Wilson. He's Woodrow Wilson. He is the bookend of the progressive. That's right. Woodrow Wilson was really the beginning and a nightmare and believed in the same America in many ways that Barack Obama.
It's the same thing, yes.
Now we've seen 100 years. Barack Obama that has done this. This is 100 years of progressivism, and Barack Obama was the one to finish it off.
You're right, and we were talking about this earlier. There are progressives, obviously, in the Democratic Party. There are progressives in the Republican Party.
Oh, yeah.
There are folks in both parties that think they know how to live our lives better than us, that we shouldn't, if we have these freedoms, we will misuse them, so they've got to come tell us. That's how you get Common Core. That's how you get the micromanagement of the school lunches. That's how you get the government setting expulsion policies. That's how you get the federal government telling you what kind of insurance to buy, whether you can have guns, whether you can have religious liberty. That's how you have Michael Bloomberg saying you can't drink this many big gulps in the city of New York.
That's why you have Mike Huckabee and Jeb Bush. They are just as big of progressive as Hillary Clinton is in many, many ways. And I don't think people really, truly understand that. We've got to get away from these labels. The debate
is coming up.
CNBC.
CNBC.
And the GOP is doing everything they got. As much as the DNC is.
As much as DNC, too.
To weed the field out to get their candidates. Do you believe that's a conspiracy theory?
Look, I think it's obvious that, I'll speak to my party. It's clear to me that the DNC is trying to protect Hillary. It's clear to me that on the Republican side, the folks in D.C., the folks in New York, and I think the national media folks as well as the donors, absolutely, they're trying to clear the field. They don't like having more debates. They think democracy is messy. I've got news for them. The voters get to pick our nominee. They don't get to pick our nominee, and it all backfires. Every time they try this, it doesn't work. Look, Jeb Bush publicly said you got to be willing to lose the primary in order to win the general election. Let's translate that. What he's really saying, and what the establishment is trying to tell us, is hide your conservative beliefs. Get the left and the media to like you. If we do that again, we will lose again. We will deserve to lose again. We've tried that before, and it doesn't work. The American people don't want us to be a second Democratic Party, a cheaper version, a second liberal party. They want us to be authentic conservatives. They want us to not only repeal Obamacare and stop amnesty. They want us to stop funding Planned Parenthood. They want us to stop this bad Iran deal. They want folks who will fight for them. Again, another backhanded compliment to Pelosi and Reid and Obama. At least they fight for their beliefs. Well, our side just gives up the fight before it starts. I wish we had half the conviction, the backbone that the other side has.
If we did,
absolutely, we're right.
Yeah, because we're right.
That's right. If we had half the conviction,
we would win. But how do you get people to understand that this is the time where you can have a Bobby Jindal or a Ted Cruz? This is the time when you find the right guy to run in the general election. But so many people are all hung up in, and look at it's Jeb Bush and it's Donald Trump who are at the top of the polls, and I want somebody who can win. How do you convince them otherwise?
Well, two things. two things. One, I'd say, look at what's happening in the early states. The voters that get to come out and hear the candidates, not just see them on TV, not just watch ads, but actually get to go kick the tires, ask the tough questions. That's the way it works in our democracy. The people get to vet the candidates. There's nothing between me. We do these town halls. Been in 48 counties. We're going to all 99. We'll stay to the last person to ask their last question. That's why we're moving up in the polls in Iowa. Now, I know the National Party wants to ignore the early states. The last 50 years, every Republican nominee has won either Iowa or New Hampshire. You cannot ignore the early states. And I think you're exactly right. I think they would love, I think the RNC would love, I think the establishment would love a Jeb Bush, Donald Trump fight. They're not going to get it because the voters aren't going to select that. And so I think that voters need to take control back. These politicians work for us, not the other way around. That's why I think we've got to fire everybody.
Dana Lash said
last
week
she didn't think the GOP has a
she doesn't believe that
she believed that
they
they have a
PR problem or a
communication problem.
She said
they destroyed the GOP every step of the way. Destroyed their policies, their people every step of the way. I'm happy
in some ways
that we have a mention, and I'll bet you none.
If
it wasn't for this question, nobody here would have thought.
You're running for
president.
You're
the first Indian American to run for president. You'll be the first Indian American president.
We're called
racist every step of the way.
But
we have two Hispanics,
a
black and woman, and the other one, Indian, whatever, and the DNC. It's a jealousy.
DNC,
a bunch of white people.
And yet we're the racists. Does it come into
play at all
with
you
the
identity problem?
Are you ever tempted to even say, hey, first Indian?
Absolutely not. Look, I'm tired of the hyphenated Americans. We're all Americans. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes this country great. I mean, I don't think anybody should be treated differently because of the color of their skin, their gender. One of the things I like about the conservative movement is we don't do that. Yes. We don't have these quotas, these set-asides. You don't get to start 10 yards ahead of anybody else. Everybody starts on a level playing field. That's the way it should be.
It's interesting, though, isn't it, that the media doesn't notice it? They never talk about it. Whereas with Barack Obama, everything was historic. Everything was unprecedented. Everything was the most amazing thing that's ever happened. But with you, with Ted Cruz, with Marco Rubio, with Carly Fiorina, with Ben Carson, they don't care. They don't even know. They just don't care.
Well, and one of the things I worry, stepping back from just this election cycle, the left is obsessed with identity politics. They're obsessed with multiculturalism. Here's what I really fear for our country. We've always been a melting pot. Now that is fairly culturally arrogant. The left says you're xenophobic if you say that. The new term of art is we're supposed to be a salad bed, which I think that's the dumbest thing I've heard. I mean, the reality is assimilation, integration is so important to the American success story. My parents came here 45 years ago. They came here, they wanted to be American. If they didn't want that, they wouldn't have come. And so why is it wrong to say, if you want to come to our country, come to be an American and assimilate? If you don't assimilate, if you don't integrate, that's not immigration, that's an invasion. Now, when you say that, the left goes crazy. I said that Hillary Clinton went apoplectic. She sent Congressman Castro to Des Moines to criticize me for it. So I now like repeating, because when I know it drives her crazy, I like saying it over and over. But this is a very important point, because one of our strengths compared to Europe and other places has always been this idea we're a melting pot. And we're Americans, and that's, being American, it's as much of an ideal. I mean, it's this idea of freedom and opportunity. What our founding fathers got right, it wasn't about our genealogy, it wasn't about our ethnicity, it was this idea that limited government was going to protect but not create our God-given rights.
Bobby
Jindal. If you like what you heard, it's Bobby Jindal.
BobbyJindal.com,
and he will be joining me on my morning show, and so it's Tuesday's show, whatever it is. Bobby, thanks so much.
Great to be back in just
a second.